Hey, how would you define what a millionaire is? In this video, I'm going to expose all the fake millionaires, and I'm one of them. You see, there are 4 definitions in my book of millionaire. When you hear the word millionaire, what do you think? Some people think having access to $1 million. Some people think that their net worth is $1 million. Some people think that they've sold $1 million and that makes them a millionaire. So I'm going to talk about the 4 types of millionaires from easiest to most difficult and expose how in each one of those categories, numbers can get manipulated to confuse or trick or show themselves to be something that they're not. So the first type of millionaire that I want to expose is the volume millionaire. This is the person who goes around talking about either their business or the amount of sales that they've done, realtors with the transactions that they've done, and they talk about that top line, the revenue, the total value of that transaction. Let me give you an example. Realtor says that they did $10 million last year. What that means is that they sold $10 million worth of real estate. Whether that was 2 $5 million houses, 10 $1 million houses, 1 $10 million house, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're talking about the total amount. Now, they're not talking about how much they stuck in their pocket. They're just talking about their volume. If they sold $10 million worth of real estate and had a 1% commission on all of that, they would have stuck $100,000 in their pocket. Actually, less than that because their broker would have taken some commissions as well. Additionally, business owners are guilty of the exact same thing. They talk about the total revenue. They talk about the total sale. I was recently in a business workshop where they started talking about the difficulties that business owners have. And the different levels of a business came with different difficulties. And they started talking about, businesses between 500,000 and 3 million have this difficulty, 3 million to 8 million have that difficulty, and the different strategies that you need to overcome the difficulties in each one of those levels. Well, my question was really simple. How do you define that? Because if you define it just on sales, a lot of businesses will say that they are $1 million business because they sold $1 million worth of product. But if they spent $1.3 million to get that, now they're negative 300 grand, and why are we doing business? Unless you know that that's part of that growth cycle, which is how a lot of businesses operate, particularly when they're first starting off. Does that define someone as a millionaire? Someone who has $1 million business? See, that's that volume. That's the one that's the most tricky. It's the one that's used often. You'll see it among realtors. You'll see it among business owners. I don't care about the top line. I care about the bottom line. After I pay for cost of goods sold, operating expenses, and taxes. That's what I care about. Why? I'm a cash guy. How much cash is left in the bank once I'm done with my business? That's what I care about. But a lot of people go around talking about the volume, trying to impress you and defining themselves potentially as millionaires based on that volume. I would challenge that. The second type of millionaire that you'll see is the net worth millionaire. You see, net worth is defined as your assets minus your liabilities. The problem with the net worth millionaire is how you define assets. See, some people will define assets as what someone else will pay for it, but another definition of an asset is what you're willing to sell it for. Just because you have a $500,000 house doesn't mean that on the asset column of your personal financial statement, you would say that your house is worth $500,000. Because if you value that asset at what you're willing to sell it for, you may say, no, I wouldn't sell it for $500,000. I wouldn't sell it for anything less than $1 million. And now you add that to your asset side. And the more you do that, the more you value assets in that manner, your assets will go up. And if your liabilities stay down, you can then carve off a net worth of $1 million pretty easily. Let's say that your house, your car, your retirement plans all are worth $1.5 million in your mind. You said, I wouldn't sell my house for less than $1 million. I wouldn't sell my truck for less than $200,000, and I've got $300,000 in a retirement plan. Well, that's a $1.5 million asset. Now let's pretend you owe $500,000 against the house. Everything else is free and clear. You could tell yourself that you are a millionaire because you have $1.5 million worth of asset minus $500,000 worth of liabilities equals a net worth of $1 million. Do you see how problematic it is to define millionaire that way? It's the same issue that Trump ran into when he was running for president. Now, I'm neither Republican nor Democrat. I think both parties are corrupt. But when Trump was running for president, they kept trying to insult him by telling everyone that he's lying about his net worth. So what Trump did was came up with his personal financial statement. And in that personal financial statement, he mentioned several of his assets. And a lot of people said they're way overvalued, right? Trump took the approach of, I want to sell it for less than this. In fact, one of those items on his asset column was his name, Trump. And he put a valuation of that. Said that when I put my name against something, it has some value. And I suppose he's proven his case a little bit with different kind of items that he's put his name on. Casinos, stakes, airlines, whatever it might be. However, he's answering the question, if I sold my name, Trump, here's how much I would sell it for. Whether someone would buy it for that amount or any amount is a different story. Can you see why the net worth millionaire is hard to determine? How do you determine what assets are worth? Some people even like to minimize their liabilities or not mention them. Oh, that's a business liability, not a personal liability. This is a personal financial statement. Net worth millionaires are very difficult to nail down. The third type of millionaire is the profit millionaire. And the reason this is a difficult one is because which profit are you talking about? We already talked about the volume number, that top line sale. But between that top line sale and the gross profit is a thing called cost of goods sold, also known as COGS. When people go to Shark Tank and they ask them what their margin is, what they're really asking is, how much does it cost you to make this product? I'll give you an example. If you have a product that sells for $100, but it costs you $30 to make, your margin would be $70 or 70%. That's your gross profit. And if you define your millionaire status based on your gross profit, I would challenge that because there's more to running a business than just the gross profit. You also have to pay for operating costs, rent, marketing, personnel, a lot of other expenses that fall in the category of operating expenses. You know, it costs you $30 against that product for operating costs as well. So now it's $100 minus $30 for the cost of goods sold, minus $30 for operating costs. You now have $40 in net profit. Let's pretend you have $1 million in net profit over the life of your company. Does that make you a millionaire? I would challenge that. And the reason I would challenge that is net profit gets taxed. You're going to pay taxes on that net profit. Some people talk about the value of their company based on a multiple of EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and appreciation. And so as you see all of these moving pieces going in there, there's things that get added back, there's things that get deducted. So if we're talking about a profit of the business, what profit are you talking about? Is it the gross profit after your COGS? Is it the net profit after expenses? Are you adding back in interest payments to get your EBITDA up? Are you adding back in taxes? You see why I'm saying profit might be problematic when someone defines themselves as a millionaire based on their profit? I challenge that because of what the numbers are doing and how the numbers can be manipulated. The fourth type of millionaire that I'm going to be exposing is the cash millionaire. This is different than the other three in that some people define millionaires as people who have 7 digits in their bank account that they can write a check for $1 million. If you can write a check for $1 million, you are now a millionaire. And I would challenge that. Some of the highest net worth people I know are people who could not write $1 million check. And the reason is simple. They have taken that capital and put it into assets and then produce them cash flow. I don't like to hold a lot of cash. I want my cash going to work for me. Just like Kevin O'Leary says, Mr. Wonderful, I want my cash to go out, make some friends, and come back. Interest, returns. So if you define a millionaire by someone who can write a check for $1 million, I would say there's more people out there who should qualify as millionaire that wouldn't because they've got their money working for them. Maybe this is someone who has inherited this money. Is he now a millionaire? Maybe this is someone who has accumulated $1 million in cash over a long period of time. Like in the book Next Door Millionaire, that's how they would define millionaire. But I don't think that's what most people think about when they're talking millionaire. The objections I'm going to get are, Brad, you're talking about over a lifetime, over a period of time. That's not what we talk about. We're talking about per year, okay? Your volume per year over $1 million. Does that make you a millionaire? I don't think so. Increasing your net worth in a year, does that make you a millionaire? It depends on how you value your assets. Profit of $1 million in a year. Now we're getting a little bit more close. However, which profit are we talking about? Gross profit, net profit, profit after taxes? Is this active income that we're talking about or passive income? I have a lot more respect for someone who has $1 million net in passive income than I do for the person who makes $1 million net in active income. The guy who makes $1 million in passive income in a year is not having to deal with all the market fluctuations that the active guy is dealing with. I've got a lot more respect for that guy. At the end of the day, cash. A millionaire is someone who sticks $1 million in cash in their bank account every year. That might be where you land. Or No, Brad, my definition of a millionaire is someone who sticks $1 million in cash in their bank account in a year. Just 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years, not 10 years. I would even challenge that and say, wait a second, just because you have stuck $1 million in your bank account and it's sitting there, I say that that's foolish. That money should go and make you more money. So as you can see, all 4 types of millionaires can be manipulated. That volume millionaire, that net worth millionaire, the profit millionaire, the cash millionaire. All of those things can be manipulated. But all 4 of these definitions of millionaires don't matter. They're all fake. They're not real. It's vanity. There's only one type of millionaire that matters, and that's the person who can add $1 million in value by helping other people, by helping communities, by helping people in need. See, $1 million in value could be your time, your talent, your treasures, whatever it might be. It's $1 million of helping people that matters. All these other vain definitions don't matter. So the question you've got to ask yourself is, who are you around? Who do you know that adds $1 million worth of value to society, to people in need? Because those are the true millionaires. Full disclosure, I'm a fake millionaire. It's true, I'm a volume millionaire, a net worth millionaire, profit millionaire, a cash millionaire, though that's the one that's most difficult for me because I keep putting my capital back into businesses and back into real estate. But I'm not a real millionaire. I haven't gotten to the point where I feel like I've done $1 million worth of value in my life. But what I want to be is someone who does not just $1 million worth of value in helping people in my lifetime, but a consistent $1 million value in helping people with my time, talent, and treasure, and doing so each and every year. Those are the real millionaires, and that's what I'm striving for. I want to be a real millionaire, having nothing to do with these vain definitions, but having everything to do with the significant definition that the value you add to helping people is over $1 million every single year. Those are the real millionaires. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying. So thanks for watching this video. If you've gotten anything out of it, please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.